What's up, people? Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Cup Chasers podcast. Thanks for being here. Of course, thanks for listening. It's been a wild couple of days since last we've met, and lots happened. Man City have won, weren't great, got it over the line. However, Liverpool, not great, got it over the line. Arsenal, atrocious, did not get it over the line.
It was close. It was close.
It was close.
I'm not gonna answer. I'm not gonna answer that right now. We'll get to that.
Close.
The scoreline was close. Thank you, Lewis. That's what I was looking for.
I mean, you almost got it over the line, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. We'll get there. I think, of course, we'll also get to the Carabao Cup Final as well. Other Champions League games have happened, and there's a Premier League weekend to discuss, predictions to do. But right out the rip, let's get those likes up on the video. Of course, thanks for being here. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are on our way to 200 subscribers. And if you're enjoying the content, click the little bell. I think since so much has happened, we will go in chronological order, and we'll try to pick apart Man City for a bit right here at the beginning, if that's even possible. So, Lewis, I thought that a little bit lackluster once again, but Holland manages to pounce on the mistake.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it. The City supporters were crying, "Don't play Alvarez in the center of the park," and he did. Don't play Foden on the wing, and then they did. But then they kind of were interchangeable, floating. Don't play Doku. They played Bob. De Bruyne or something, and De Bruyne didn't play at all. And it was just one of those things where, I mean, Holland's. I've said this several podcasts now. I'm gonna, I guess, speak it in the other sense now. Holland has been out of form, but he looks like he's gaining his confidence. Like he looked like he's starting to get his head right, and that's super important. Foden is still sharp. Alvarez, even though he was skying everything and hitting the Brentford fan and C 2000.
Yep. The United fan across the city.
Yeah, man, he was hitting the ball all over the place. But this is the City that they have to have where, okay, De Bruyne is not perfect. Obviously, he's good for where he is, but I mean his health is not like when he was younger. So you have to kind of pamper that. So sitting him out was important in this game where they had to get it across the line. And they did what they needed to do. I mean, there was nothing really sparkling in the game. It was an error on Brentford's part. Even though, I mean, the manager said, if the guy doesn't slip, he stops Holland. I mean, I mean, so we're assuming Holland is not going to the guy's not going to run into Holland and bounce off of him and fall on the ground. There's a lot of assumptions in that. I think Holland still makes the good run. I don't know if he scores, but I think he still gets a solid attempt off because
he doesn't get a breakaway.
No, but I still think. No. But the assumption is he doesn't score, and I don't think you can do that, right? Because
I do because he's going to contest the reception of the pass.
But no, because
yes, when Holland receives the ball, he'll be receiving it away from the defender, but the defender's going to barge into him.
But did you
as soon as he receives the pass, and he's going to disrupt the play, and Holland never gets in on goal. Maybe Homie's running down the left and he plays him in, but Holland's not about to get in on goal there if the guy doesn't slip.
So as I started in my initial point, I said the guy was there. There was still space, which means and Holland played it out wide, which means the guy would still have to catch him. And I initially said, well, Holland would bump him. I mean, Holland is a physical dude. I'm not going to say he's going to throw him to the ground, but Holland's literally thrown dudes to the ground. to assume, and we can show videos of him doing those same exact runs against defenders who get flopped to the ground. What says he's not going to do that? Like, there's no way to assume that the defender would do anything to him. So, no, we can't assume. Even if the defender is there to track him, that doesn't mean he stops him. And
it also doesn't mean he's just in.
But I didn't say he was in. I said the assumption was he wasn't going to score, and I said you can't make that assumption. That's the point I'm making. Yeah, the guy could track him.
The play changes. I think the play changes when they collide.
Well, but he doesn't. But how does he collide with him?
He will. He'll make the challenge, and instead of falling over,
but you're assuming
that
Holland does the same touch away. So he had to run, and he made an.
But then he would have to then run around the guy. The guy's going to make another challenge. I'm just saying, like, the play was so direct because he slipped.
But your assumption
it would be so much less direct.
But your assumption is he's going to catch him off of that.
Well, he was behind him already. He was already behind him. What do you mean? He was coming. The defender was coming forward. The defender was coming forward. Holland was coming across,
and then he played the ball wide. So you're saying the defender was going to be able to make that sharp turn like that?
He didn't play the ball wide. Holland just picked the ball up and ran.
But he played it wide.
No, he didn't. He took a touch into the middle. He took a touch into. He came from out wide and took a touch into the middle.
Well, but he wasn't in the middle, which means he had to place the ball away from where he was.
Into the middle.
Because he wasn't in the middle, which is still the if I come from here,
but the defender was in the middle already.
I'm coming this way. That means it went wide of me.
But you're missing what I'm saying.
I'm not missing what you're saying. I'm saying that the guy still would have to turn at an angle to catch him. And who says he doesn't? Holland doesn't shove him off.
He wouldn't have to catch him. There would be a collision.
No, it wouldn't have.
Yes, there would definitely have been a collision.
No,
yes, there would have. Holland would have had to pick the ball up on his left foot behind the play, and homie would have smashed into him.
He wouldn't have.
I guarantee he would have.
I'm gonna disagree with that. I'll leave it like that.
I think he gets enough. There's going to be enough contact there for sure because he slipped and then had another chance to get up and slipped again and fell over. And that's when Holland was free. He was already close to Holland, and there was going to be a collision if he didn't fall over because until he fell over, I wasn't even worried about the play. It was happening so fast. I was like, all right, they're going to get back. And then he just fell. Because Holland wasn't. It was more of a side run than a forward run from Holland, because he was coming out to in, and the dude was already central. The defender was already central. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. I've watched a lot of stuff since then, but yeah, I mean, I thought up until then, second gear again. Yeah. Are you worried about that? It's been like three games running.
No, but here's why I'm not worried about it. I mean, it's 38 games. It's literally a season of attrition. I mean, you can't play every game like that. But it as long as you get up for the games that you need to get up and you get the results you need, who cares how they look?
Yeah, but isn't it? Doesn't City have to win the rest of this way out though? Like, to even make this mathematically possible, if you drop a game, you're leaving that wide. Like, if you tie another game, if Brentford pulls this 1-1, like, to look this lackluster and this lackadaisical against
they won.
That will punish.
You're saying a draw. They won. Like, I can understand if they had drawn, but they won.
Easily been a draw.
But we're talking about hypothetical results. The last two results, but they got what they needed. But I don't.
I don't think you got what you needed against us. I don't. I think that's a major blow to your title run. I really do. I think that's going to have a say. Come down in the later weeks. Those 2 points are going to be massive losses for City when it's coming up for first, second, and third. Massive points.
But there's literally the assumption that City is the only team that has to be perfect going forward, which doesn't make any sense.
I'm saying if you keep playing this way and you let one of these teams knock you, you're going to open that window and Liverpool's going to run away with it because they know better than to let you catch them. That's how they got beat when Klopp, only tied one game the entire season?
But again, there's an assumption that City's the only team that needs to be perfect. Am I right?
Y'all have a bigger hole to dig yourself out of. Essentially,
No, they don't.
There's no hole. They literally play. There's no hole. They play Liverpool directly. If they lose to Liverpool, then it's over. But if they beat them, then what? I mean, there's no hole.
Like, you play like you did against Brentford against a full strength Liverpool, you're gonna get smacked.
So you're assuming City will play like that against Liverpool?
I'm saying if y'all play that way against us. Yeah, I'm saying y'all keep playing the same way. Y'all keep playing the same way. These last three performances.
So I'm gonna ask you a question.
Don't fool yourself, X. You're in the same pile as Brentford in Man City's eyes.
So let me ask you a question. So if Chelsea limps over the line and wins the cup, and people say, "Well, they won the cup ugly," what was the result?
X, you're not gonna give a shit. You're not gonna care.
What difference does it make? City won the Champions League last year, and it was ugly. Am I right? It was an ugly Champions League, right?
I didn't think so.
But I mean, compared to how City plays,
2 years ago is a better example. Madrid won the Champions League ugly 2 years ago.
But what matters? Yes. What matters?
That they beat both of you.
Then I don't care about anything else but the result.
I can't talk any Champions League smack. That wasn't even. I didn't mean my bad, guys. I didn't mean to do that. I have no right to do that. I have no right to say that at all.
I hear your point, but I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm a manager and I'm looking at the things and I'm making the adjustments and the tweaks in the game and I'm getting the result that I need, what am I supposed to do? I mean, my team has
There's a difference between getting a result and holding a standard. I think you've let your standard slip.
You think any of these other teams can step the City? Come on, man. Literally, the standard is
win.
You win.
The standard is win. Really,
what other standard do you need?
I get the point though. Better teams will do better against you, but
right.
But you're assuming that. No, we're assuming again that these better teams are going to be better when they play us. Like they don't adjust for City as well. I think, and I accept it and I feel it. But you're setting a standard for City from the past. City is City this year. We're not City from last year. We're not City from the year before. We're not any other team than this one right now. So asking them to play like any other team doesn't make any sense. And then to question the results where they've played poorly and they are literally in second place. So what does that say about the rest of the league?
Farmers.
We are the farmers. I will say this.
I can't worry about things that haven't happened. One game at a time.
Exactly. It is one game at a time. I also think that there are levels to everything, right? I mean, I think we saw it. Not to jump ahead to Jake, but we see it with Arsenal. We see it with Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool comes out and they go down 1-0, and it's like it's Luton. We're supposed to kind of push them over. I don't think City ever felt like they were threatened in that game.
They weren't.
The only thing that they were concerned about was finding a goal. And I think that if they had not gotten that goal, that we would have seen De Bruyne a lot sooner. Did he even play? I don't think he even
No, he didn't play at all.
He didn't play at all.
I think he comes on because it was clear that they were missing that one person to hit that key pass when they kind of got bogged down. Like it was kind of like watching Chelsea in a sense. The ball kind of started slowly moving, and I even mentioned that City's being really slow with the ball right now because I see it with Chelsea so much when there's a low block. But the thing is City was never threatened in this game. I think Ivan Toney had one really good opportunity, and even then, it wasn't much of an opportunity. So I think us trying to focus on City and saying hey, they're not playing to a standard. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. all that matters is 3 points. I mean, if we get into, goal differential and all that as we get closer to the end, then maybe City's in trouble. But all that matters is 3 points. So they got their 3 points. They're 1 point back from Liverpool right now, which if they win this weekend, because y'all play this weekend, right, Lewis? Yeah.
Yes.
If they win this weekend, they finish the weekend on top, because Liverpool's, of course, playing Chelsea.
No,
Oh, you're 4 points back? That's right.
They're 4 points ahead because they played Luton.
But I mean, they finished the weekend 1 point back. And like Lewis said, they still have to play Liverpool. They still have to play Arsenal.
2 weeks.
So, I mean, in that sense, they hold their own destiny. I don't think this City team is going to let off at this point. Like, we've seen them kind of mess around early on. But like I said, going into things, and I was completely wrong to think that they would score 3 goals in this one, 4, because I thought Pinnock was going to be out.
He was.
Which was shocking that they didn't. But also, I fully expected De Bruyne in there tossing dimes, and he did. And I expected more from Foden as well. But that said, they got 3 points. That's all that matters. Keep getting 3 points. It all balances out in the end. So I understand the criticism. And I understand where Lewis is coming from, where he's like, you're holding City to a higher standard, and we should. I mean, they're champions. They're treble winners. I mean,
they've set the standard. That's why we hold it to it, because you said it.
Exactly. I mean, we should hold City to a higher standard, but we also know that this City team, when healthy, which they are relatively healthy now, are going to show up at home against Arsenal. At Anfield. You have to go to Anfield still, right? Yeah, at Anfield. We know we're going to see that.
Are we though? That's the crux of the question, right? Because it's Bournemouth away, who, let's be on Saturday. Let's be honest. If you don't smash Bournemouth, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But then it's the Manchester derby, which you should destroy them too. But it's also, that's like a derby game. It's like there's a different dynamic to it. And then the next game is Anfield. So that's why I asked the question to begin with, is because you're coming into these 2 fixtures with a kind of and so you make it sound like it's a switch. So I hear what X is saying, but Lewis, you seem to think that it's just like a switch it on because it's United, switch it on because it's Anfield.
No, I didn't say that.
That's just what it sounds like. You said that you think they're going to be up for those games, right?
But if we're going to use the evidence that they've played poorly as the evidence that, hey, maybe they're off it. So when it's games that matter, do they play in those games? I mean, if we're going to use the same evidence, then we can say, yeah, right?
I mean
we can use the stats from this season, and maybe, because the thing is, the other expectation based on the questions is City is supposed to win, right? And
I don't think y'all played that well in the champs, though, as well. Like, what I'm getting at is your run against these teams. Like, if you look at the Copenhagen game, forward, all the way through, you go to Chelsea game, go to this game in Brentford. I don't think if you play that way, that style, whatever that is, maybe it's Pep's, I'm just messing around, here's a fake formation, and then we are going to absolutely just switch it up and smack you, because that's what they did last season. It just seems to me, if you walk in there, if you go into Anfield, if you walk into, it's at United, right?
No.
Oh, so they have to come to the Etihad.
Yeah.
All right, so that makes it a little bit better for you there.
But I get what you're saying.
You've set the standard, Lewis.
Well,
City has set this. Patrick thinks you're going to score 3 goals every game standard.
And now let's again. I
mean, they had what, 70 shots against Brentford? Like, what did they have? 25? Like, Jesus.
And Flecken had 2 good games against City in 2 weeks, right? Am I not right? So I mean, so there's a couple of things. One, when Patrick said that City was going to score 3 every game, we can go look at the film. I didn't agree with that.
I know.
I was on the record to say that I didn't agree with that, because I saw whatever you're talking about now. I said, because I said then they weren't the same team. I said it then. And so for me, my attitude hasn't changed. So they set the standard. I said that in my response. I'm like, they have set the standard. And if that's the case, that's the case. But at the end of the day, are we talking about margin? Do you want the margin to be something? Or because if this was a 1-0 domination, we made them look bad and we missed a bunch of shots, that's still not better. Is that better? That we
It is to me. Yeah, absolutely is to me.
But how? But because that affects the morale of the players. Now I can't put it in the goal. So now teams will be like, oh, they can't score, but they dominate.
We'll block them. That's what they do to us.
So at that point, there's no way to win at all. So I'm gonna put it like this, and I've said it, and I agree with you, X. If they show up and they play lackadaisically against their rival teams,
top flight teams, right?
I'll say rivals, right? Because United is not a top flight team, like in form, but they are a rival, right? I mean, they're in the top. I think they're fifth, right? Am I right?
Sixth.
Sixth.
So I'll use rivals. So we'll just use rivals, right? If they show up and they don't play well against them, then you get what you get. And what my response, if that happens, is
come on, if y'all lose to United, dude, oh my god.
But my response is if they get undesirable results against them, what can I say? If they don't win, they don't win. I mean, what am I supposed to say? I've been critical of the team all year. And
is there a world if Pep doesn't win a trophy, does he leave?
He didn't win a trophy his first year. Of course, there's a world.
I'm saying if he does not win a trophy now, and this team this year, he goes out of the cup, he goes out of champs, he doesn't win the league.
Of course, there is. But see, this is where I'm maybe the most.
Like, can y'all go from winning 4 to none? Like, is that the possibility? Like staring down the barrel.
But if that's we've ignored context of that for the simple reason they've done a couple of things that it's more likely he doesn't win based on the stats than he does. No team has won 4 in a row, so that means that it's against them to win the league.
Right? It's a Klopp retirement tour. If you think you're getting calls,
but I'm not. Ignore that. There's no team that's won 4 in a row when Alex Ferguson existed, right? No team won 4 in a row. Next is you got their record in the FA Cup. They don't win consistently and consecutively, so it's against them statistically to not win that based on history. And in the Champions League, they just won.
Yes, the first time
ever.
Yeah,
and it's unlikely. What's the last team to repeat? Real Madrid, and that's not regular. If we're going based on true statistics, Pep shouldn't win anything this year. I mean, if we're being honest, right? But we throw statistics out the way because we allow aura to alter our perspective. I'm the most realistic guy in the world. I would like them to win. It would feel good to win, but I can respect and understand if another team wins. Do I want that? No. But what is happening in this process is they're getting 3 points when they need to get 3 points. If they get 3 points against Liverpool, great. If they get 3 points against Man United and Arsenal, great. You won't see me be cocky about it or anything like that because they could get 3 points against all 3 of those teams. And then what if they lose the next 3 games?
Drop to Luton, right?
Didn't even matter. So they got to the big game. And then
I don't want you to really. Want you to beat Chelsea.
I can
only want you to not show up against these lower flight teams and then be like, we can take it easy this Sunday. Then you get smacked, and then someone like City no longer has the points that they need to make this title race a 3-horse race.
That'll never happen, dude. They're too good.
Here's the thing.
They're too good. They're too good. Their players are individually too good. And I've worked this out, right? So Arsenal don't have a lot of star power at all. And we have a really good defense. Liverpool do not have a very good defense, but have lots of star power in their attack. City have a good defense, a good manager, good tactics, and all the star power they could ever want. And so when they don't play good, Haaland will just bag 2 in 4 minutes off some crazy crap. Or, De Bruyne will make some stupid pass because they have star power like that. When Pool don't play well, they blitzkrieg you because they have star power up front. It's been like that for 3 weeks running with both of those teams. It's infuriating. It's absolutely infuriating. Now, if Arsenal had some star power, some real star power, we might not have lost yesterday.
Jake, are we shifting? Because I definitely want to answer that because I did get to watch some.
Well, no, let's do a Bournemouth. Let's do a quick Bournemouth prediction.
Okay.
A quick Bournemouth prediction, and then we'll transition.
Cool.
Real quick.
Because I hear you. I hear what you're saying, but I'm going to disagree a little bit with what you said. Not totally, but a little bit.
Real quick. So I think we're getting all wrapped up in like, City may shut off. And I don't think that's going to happen. They know what's ahead of them now. Like, we talk about points and we talk about long seasons and how you approach, certain ties and certain games and so on and so forth. I mean, it's all ahead of them right now. Momentum is a real thing in that situation. I mean, we saw it last year with Arsenal. It was negative momentum. It started to fall on them, and City just kept on gaining momentum. Chelsea wins Sunday against Liverpool. That's a momentum shift for City, because now what you're seeing is that Liverpool. Well, and you too, of course.
Stop little broing me.
But what you're seeing
that's
is
why I want
Liverpool,
to actually comment on what Jake said. Go ahead.
Liverpool is now beatable. Not saying they're not, but it's just the mindset of like, okay, someone took one off of them. That's why everybody's like, oh, City is now beatable because Chelsea got a point against them, which was great. Happy with it. Actually, I wanted 3, but I'll take 1. Brentford went into that game totally confident that they were going to at least get a point off of it.
Especially since they did the double over them last year.
Exactly.
It matters.
And
It didn't look that way to me. It didn't look that way to me.
It matters.
You don't think so?
Brentford were not good. They did not pass the ball well. They did not keep the ball well with an opportunity to do so. I thought the lineup from Man City was arrogant. To have Akanji as your inverting right back, and to not even play KD, it's a little bit arrogant.
Because now you're ignoring context of that though. So
I'm not ignoring any context. I get KDB needs to rest. I understand KDB needs to rest.
So why is that?
But I also agree with Xavier that every single game is very, very, very important in the Premier League.
And so you think they don't think they're important?
I think that some of the lineups y'all put out definitely show that you are supremely confident. No matter who you play, who is in your team, we can beat anyone. And Brentford are not Pool. Brentford are not United. And you yourself said that they'll get up for United and they'll get up for Pool, the games that quote unquote matter. I know you didn't say that, but a couple of the lineups, the way Akanji has been the one inverting into right mid when you have John Stones on the bench is a little bit like, we got this, no problem.
You misremembered this game because the lineup you're talking about is incorrect, sir, because the back line was Akanji, Diaz, Stones, and Walker. And what back line did they win the rest of the league with?
But Akanji was the one playing that inverting role.
No, he wasn't. Stones
or was that 2 games ago? Was that the first game?
Because now you're confusing Chelsea. So that's incorrect. That's what I'm saying. They didn't play against them disrespectfully. Maybe you're mixing the games because they came together because that's not what they played against Brentford.
Well,
and there was nothing disrespectful about what they did. They played a strong lineup. Like I'm trying to understand. They couldn't play De Bruyne.
Maybe I'm thinking the first lineup. I must be thinking the first lineup.
Yeah, because it's Akanji, Diaz, Stones, and Walker. That's the strongest back line we have.
What game did Bob start on the left?
But Bob started because specifically, wait a minute. Bob started specifically because Doku is out of form. And
I thought Bob was good, by the way.
And he was very good. They could put Bob in the game because he plays more similarly to Grealish than him. So
I was going to make that comment.
Was tactics. So there's
going to make that comment. Y'all were a lot more dynamic on the left with Bob.
Exactly.
When Doku came in, the ball just kind of stuck over there.
But it wasn't. Because this starting lineup is a great starting lineup. Bob has been better than Grealish this year. Go look at the games. He's been better than Grealish and Doku. I'm not understanding where the disrespect is.
I was shocked he didn't score, actually. He had a really good chance.
Again, this is why I made the point. Maybe they needed to score a bunch of goals but then you've seen me say when we score a bunch of goals and don't look good, and I'm critical of that. but that the score line is not the definition of the dominance. The only thing at the end of the day is the 3 points. Remember when Haaland scored that brace and I said he played badly? I didn't believe him. I am super critical of the team. So
I don't know, man. I hear you because I think you might stop short of the word dominance in this game. Y'all were frustrated for a long time. Haaland was getting pissed. You could see Haaland was pissed. Y'all were frustrated for a really long time because you didn't bother to get out of second gear because it was Brentford.
And you had the possession to not get out of second gear. Like you had 70-30 possession. You put 25 shots, probably 13 of those were in the first half, and before Haaland even remotely gets into this game to score his in late game. It's Brentford got under your skin. If Brentford did what Brentford was supposed to do, this game ends 1-1. If Brentford goes out and does their game plan and converts their game plan against y'all, when you lined up like this is another draw for City. And
I agree.
What are you talking about?
It's more of how you played. It's more of the way you played. I think you could have dropped this game, and I would not have been surprised. And it's not about last season. It's not about expectation. It's not about seeing it on paper. It's about what we've seen in the last 4 games from City.
Because when De Bruyne doesn't play, he clearly said they're not dynamic, and he didn't play, and you can see it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The ball stuck. Again, I go back to my comment. The ball was moving slow when City had the ball. Like it was literally like watching Chelsea because they couldn't break it down. And then, there were some situations. Like I said, I thought Bob should have scored. He had a really good chance. Haaland, I think, had a pretty good header chance, if I remember right. I think Diaz had a header that was saved on a corner. But it felt like because you were missing that dynamic player in De Bruyne, it was going to have to come from either a set piece or a counter or something like that because you couldn't break them down. And it was because the ball, like Rodri gets the applause for, playing well. But I thought he did terrible in trying to cycle the ball into open space. I thought the ball stuck on his foot for too long. I thought that he was not looking for the right pass, and it was just cycling around, like watching Chelsea to the wings.
Because he was pressed. Because Brentford pressed well.
In addition to that, if we go back, so we're using this window of games to say they've played poorly or whatever the indictment is, which I hear what you're saying. But so let's go to the games when De Bruyne was out and he was making subs. What did they look like before he came on the field? Just like what they look like then. So I'm confused about what it is because if we look at it, when De Bruyne was coming in as a substitute in the games, it was the immediate injection, and then you saw a different team. How is this any different than what I've been saying before?
Because he played last game. Because he played in the last game versus Copenhagen, and you were lackluster. And it took you until the 70th minute to score 3 goals. When you played against Brentford, Foden scored a hat trick. Not De Bruyne. De Bruyne was not. That's what we're saying. Even with De Bruyne in the last few games.
But he had 2 assists in that game, didn't he?
That's what I'm saying.
He was in that game. Like, where are we?
And you were the same as you were without him in the last 2 games.
Because if you're going back to the Brentford game where Foden scored the hat trick, they look completely different.
Maybe.
See, because now we nitpicking because you talk about Copenhagen. Well, okay, so you said they look lackadaisical, which I'll agree with. But then what happened the next game? Because you clearly could see something was wrong with De Bruyne. And then what happened? He sat out because something was wrong with him.
He played against Chelsea.
This frustrates me because the one moment you capitalized on, the one moment Brentford let their game plan go.
Is that not enough?
I get that. I'm saying Brentford went for it to get their moment. The fact that they missed their moment, because that's their game plan. That's their bread and butter. They're going to send it down. Tony's going to knock it down. He's going to hold the ball, and he's going to score in your box.
But they were never threatening them.
I get it now. I got the answer. So here's what the answer
Brentford went forward the one time after the 50th minute forward, the one time they make a break for it, that's when y'all actually get space enough to break down that block and score your goal. And then before that, it's 100% frustration. And that's just not the standard that those players or City's supposed to have. You're not supposed to see frustration. We went 1-0 for 6 seasons straight. You didn't see frustration when we were holding our 1-0s.
But we're not Chelsea. We don't play the same. I don't understand.
No,
that's the point. That's exactly the point.
That is the point. That's the whole point.
That you're not Chelsea. That we expect City to smash teams.
Your fault you expect that.
Especially Brentford.
Is it? Is it? Is it our fault? How many trophies have you won in 7 years? You've not won the league once in 7 years. Of course we expect you to smash everyone. Of course we expect you to win another treble. No matter what statistics say, of course we expect you to win everything.
Get 1,000 passes.
So because they're not smashing teams, you're that frustrated.
We're excited. No, it's not frustration. We're excited that you guys are not playing as well as we expect you to.
Vulnerability. We're finally seeing a little bit of vulnerability.
So it's excitement with saltiness because
of course, we're bitter.
I get it because
of course we're bitter.
The whole thing is it's bitter because they're taking the counter punches and they're dealing with it, and they're being Floyd Mayweather towards the tail end of his career where, hey man, I'm taking the punches and then I'm still winning. And that's the problem.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. We're salty and bitter.
I got another trophy. I don't understand.
Here's what it is. I'm so sick. Of watching Man City play, him haul around in second gear, pass it side to side like Arsenal love to do, and then somebody trips, and that's how Man City wins the game. Okay, not because Haaland absolutely wrecked shop with 4 goals, not because De Bruyne did a masterclass, not because Silva ran circles around everybody. Homie tripped over and you scored your only goal of the game. That's why I'm pissed. You're better than that.
But okay, so that point, right? So
that's all we're saying.
Doesn't City get credit for that though? Because you put so much pressure on them that they make small mistakes like that.
Champions have enough. City have enough credit. They have enough credit. We don't need to give them credit for winning like champions do.
All the time. What does Jake say? If you make a mistake against City,
they punish you. They're champions. That's what they do. Why do we need to give credit? They're already champions. They're already treble winners. Why do we need to give them more credit for winning a tough, ugly game? That's what they do.
I mean, it's all
they win games. They win no matter what.
It's all mental, right?
And I'm not happy about it because we don't do that.
Because it's hard for especially a smaller team to stay turned on for 90 minutes. There's going to be that moment of lapse. And you saw it with Chelsea even. I mean, if you think about it, when Chelsea played City, they played
Poch had a lapse.
88 to 80, huh?
I said Poch had a lapse.
Yeah, Poch had a lapse. But, I mean, they played good for 88 minutes. But that 2-minute period of time, they gave up a goal. That's always going to happen with a team that is the quality of City, of course, but to the mental side of things. You know, you're always thinking, I can't make a mistake. The ball's there. I'm on my own. I can't make the mistake. And you end up making the mistake. And, you know, we talked about last year with Arsenal and Arteta and the mind control that Pep
we're about to talk about it again.
Well
we are definitely about to talk about that. That's coming.
But Pep and City had on Arsenal, and you saw it in games. They were scared to make mistakes because they knew City would pounce on it. I mean, think about the ball.
Is this the Arsenal segment?
Tommy Asu at the Emirates, that he misplayed it or something, and De Bruyne just hits an absolute banger against you.
That's what De Bruyne does.
But that's the point. They take advantage of their mistakes, or the mistakes, because they put so much pressure on you mentally and physically that you're going to make those mistakes. You may play well for 89 minutes, but that 1 minute is why you lose 9 times out of 10 against them.
Yeah, well, City should have to spot all the other teams 2 goals before the game starts. That's what I'm saying. But you know what? Speaking of, Bournemouth should get a 2-0 lead to start out with, and Man City will still probably win 4-2. Because everything we've been talking about was the reason I chose a 2-1 to City, because they've been a little bit lackluster and it's away from home again. I think they're going to pull another one of these infuriating, let's him haul around and second gear this, and then Bournemouth's going to score and City's going to be like, nah, not today. 2-1.
Yeah, I think it's 2-0.
2-0.
Same thing, though. It's going to be late goals.
Yeah.
Don't try. Easy game.
They're going to be mentally tired, Patrick. They're going to be mentally exhausted from staying switched on the whole time. Disgusting.
800 passes later, we're going to pass it into the goal. It's just going to be, that's all.
It's going to be gross. I'm going to vomit.
Yeah.
Well, their game is the 12:30 kick. So they got a little bit of rest. I expect a little bit of a change lineup. I think 3-1. I'm gonna go 3-1 City.
It's 3 points.
That's where I'm gonna go too, because I mean, every week I got a feeling
they're gonna score 3 goals.
3 goals.
I think you see De Bruyne in this one for sure.
I don't know.
I think they just absolutely break down.
Nope. More arrogance, more disrespect. KDB sits
on the road. They're gonna have to play a better lineup.
No, well, y'all killing me with this lineup thing. The only person that's missing is De Bruyne. That's
the next thing is Oscar Bob starts again, and then we know.
Hey,
Rico Lewis and Oscar Bob are going to start. Akanji's going to be inverting. It's going to be total disrespect.
No, here's the thing. Right? The next game after this one is
Kyle Walker
United.
left forward.
The next game after this one is United, right?
We'll get you one.
Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. You are correct, sir.
At home.
Is that right?
And then Copenhagen is stuck in between.
Yeah, so
before pool.
I'm going to say this.
Well, it's
De Bruyne will start on the bench, but he'll play in this one. But he won't play a lot. Because if I have to choose between having an ugly game where people think we're disrespecting Bournemouth, so what? So De Bruyne can start against United.
Yes.
No, why wouldn't you do that? Because if you sat him against then you don't start him in this one and you let him just so he can keep his legs. He plays 20 minutes in this one.
Yep.
Or he comes off early, one of the two. But you prefer to have him come on at the end.
At the end.
So that's what I think.
Yeah, and then the narrative can continue. Yeah, oh, City were lackluster. De Bruyne comes on and we win.
Rinse and repeat. It'll be rinse and repeat.
Let's keep this narrative running. Jesus Christ!
Watch this be an Alvarez game.
All we have to do on Monday's City segment is just go watch last week. All right.
Yep. Go watch everything we said last week. Yeah, we'll just repeat for Monday. Everything we just said, I'm gonna run the clip back on Monday.
Here's the funny thing about that, and I'm gonna stop talking about City. If City drops a 5 ball on them with a Haaland hat trick, then I'll shut up. I won't have a word to say. No, you'll be mad still. You'll be more mad. You'll be mad.
No, I won't. No, I won't.
You're gonna be like City's in form, and they're gonna play.
No, I won't. In form from 1-5-0. Hey, we were in form. We put 21 goals in.
Blast United.
We were in form.
Blast United.
F form.
When we get there, I got you.
I've been waiting.
We're going there. That's segues are weird.
I've been waiting for this moment.
That's where we're at.
I'm ready for it.
Dude, this was disgraceful in Porto.
Y'all let Newcastle be up for this.
It's going to be the same. It's going to be the exact same game. Actually, you're right. Newcastle is the Porto of England. They're going to do the same dark arts.
Yep.
The same BS.
Yep. Beat you up.
I have never seen.
And you're going to walk them this week.
I have never seen so much diving in my entire life. In my match reaction, I called Porto a swim team. They came out there to swim in the grass and to dive in the grass. And the referee just ate it up like he was getting paid. Having said that, that's all the time I'm going to spend on that because you should have known that was coming. Who should have known? Who's been in charge of this BS, of every BS, ridiculous, bigger fish to fry European adventure that we've been on in the last 5 years? Olympiacos in the flipping Europa League. We lost to Frankfurt the season before, where we actually won a knockout game in the flipping a knockout tie in a flipping European fixture. First of all, here's some stats for you. 15 years. Lewis, you made the comment that it's only one game. 15 years it's been since we've got past the round of 16 in the Champions League. 15. Mm-hmm. I was in high school. Mm-hmm. That was the year I flipping graduated from high school. X, do you remember there is a pub on, I forget what road it is in Charleston, but if you're going to downtown from your place, where your place was, there's an exit that you go into West Ashley. There's a
219 or whatever.
There's a pub called Manny's down there. We used to go before soccer practice.
That sounds sketchy.
In 2009, I remember going to watch us play. Guess who? Porto at the pub before we went to soccer practice. Little did I know that would be the last flipping time. 15 years, man. You wonder why Arsenal fans are flipping out? Because it's been 20 flipping years since we've won the Premier League. It's been 15 years since we've made it through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And you're going to sit here and tell me that disgrace, embarrassment of a performance deserves for me to be calm about it? It's just the first leg. We still have a second leg to play.
That's what you said about Sporting too. And look, y'all didn't show up on the second.
Embarrassing.
Right, lambasted.
And you know who I'm putting this at? You know whose feet this goes at? Mikel Arteta. You want another stat? Guess who's never won a home match in a knockout stage of a European game?
No way.
Never won a home match.
No way.
Never won at the Emirates in a knockout stage European match. Not even one. We made it through in the year where we made it to the semifinal of Europa League. We made it through winning it away from home. And the season before that, Unai Emery.
So
it's atrocious. Arteta's record in Europe is absolutely diabolical.
Okay, so question for you. Did I hear correctly that there were 0 shots on goal?
None. We have not had a shot on target in the Champions League knockout round since 2017. Thank you.
So what was the issue? Was it the way they played defense? Was it how they set? I mean,
there was no
nerves. There's no other issue than they choked.
So
they succumbed to the pressure. They absolutely 100% succumbed to the pressure. And so did Mikel Arteta. You should have known this was coming. Did you not see what happened at Lawns?
I should have known that my team was going to...
Arteta 100% should have prepared them.
How?
For the atmosphere.
Atmosphere.
Okay,
you should have done. Look, Lewis. Look, dude. At the end of the day, whose job is it to have them prepared?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Whose job is it to have them mentally in the right place?
I agree with that.
Where was when Arteta got all that flack for playing "You'll Never Walk Alone" over huge loud speakers and putting in huge loud noise during our practices when we were about to go to Anfield? Where was that? Did we do that in training? Did we do any of that in training? He has to know that it was going to be like that, that it was going to be crazy. He should have Put it in their heads. Look, be ready for this. Be ready for the diving. Be ready for the ref to be against you. Be ready for the ball to only be in play for 50 minutes of that entire game. Arteta should have had them ready for that. It's on him.
So no, I'm not taking that from you because I watched the game. I did go back in, and it was exactly what you said. But I still stand by because you have to have short memories as an athlete. You guys are athletes. You understand this. You have to have short memories. So I have a question, and it's not to pick at anybody, but so if you had a chance to make some changes, for example, Odegaard really wasn't in the game. So what changed? And first of all, I'm just go ahead and say the word Havertz, right? So that's the first one. So what changes would you have made, do you think, to give a better result?
More emphasis on playing down the wings. They gave us the wings. They wanted to press Odegaard and press Rice. They didn't want to let us progress the ball. So if they wanted to compress and be tight in the middle of the field, then give Martinelli and Saka far more support than they got, i.e. Ben White maybe doing a little bit more overlapping.
Okay.
i.e. helping Saka out instead of having him come out after the game moaning about double teams when you've been facing that all flipping season, bro. Maybe give them some support instead of constantly going side to side. I've heard it called a horseshoe style because all they're doing is back and around and back and around and back and around. You know why Martinelli never takes on his guy? You know why Martinelli always seems like he's on an island out there? Because Kai flipping Ghost Havertz is wearing his invisibility cloak and doesn't ever support him. You never see the triangles on the left-hand side that you see on the right with Odegaard and Saka and Ben White. Instead, we decided to just go back and forth, back and forth. The times that we got the ball in the channel through their mid-block and Odegaard was able to turn were the only times we looked dangerous. And it was less than like 5 or 6 times the whole game where we tried that. We were too scared to go for the risky pass. And I 100% think that Arteta, the way he approached this match and the things he's obviously said or not said before this game had them come out the way they were. They looked nervous. And the inexperience, you've bought Kai Havertz because he's got this Champions League experience. He's a winner. He actually scored a Champions League winning goal. That experience meant absolutely F all out there. Because did he step up as a leader? Did Jorginho come on in the 78th minute? And in this, thank you, Mikel, for making one flipping sub in the 78th minute. And Jorginho comes on with his cool head, with his Champions League winner's head, with this captain's mentality. He's loved at the club. He's a leader at the club and plays it out of flipping bounds 3 different times.
So what player?
By the way, that was the same stadium that Havertz scored that.
It was
goal. Total ghost.
So
awful.
So you think they're going to do the same thing at home?
Oh, it's going to be the exact same game. Why wouldn't it be? They have a lead. They're going to sit and counter. They're going to break up the play. They're going to dive every chance they get. Every time we touch them, they're going to fall down.
But I'm talking about your team. I don't care about them. What are you going to
frustrate Arsenal? And they're going to play the exact.
I have no idea what's going to happen. My confidence is shattered because that performance was so abysmal. I thought we were beyond those kinds of performances.
So what line?
The nervous, the scared, this occasion is too big for us. Kind of performances. So I thought we were past that. I don't know I don't even know what's going to happen on Saturday. Because Newcastle are going to do the same thing. Newcastle are going to do the same thing. It's last season's settings when we can't handle moments. Xhaka pushes Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Anfield gets riled up, and we blow a 2-0 lead. That's what it looked like.
I hear you, but since we're just to focus on the Champions League, and this is where, because for me, again, my perspective is that you can go into training, you can see it. If you're going to play a team similar or whatever, so you're going to see it multiple times, maybe you can start to build the muscle memory. So what lineup do you think works? Champions League leg at home, got to win. Who you playing?
Trossard starts.
I
I
mean,
think you're playing big. I think Trossard slots into your midfield.
if it depends on who's available, and my lineup is going to be different than Arteta's.
Well, but here's the thing: you putting it in the universe, right? You want them to win, correct?
Of course.
Then let me hear it, man. What team do you think would work and win the game for you at home?
Well, first of all, Havertz would be selling hot dogs.
So he's not on the
They
field.
do pies.
No,
there, right?
God, no. Havertz is not on the field.
Gotcha.
They're tiny, and it's more a game of tact of like technique. So if Jesus is fit, see, I don't even know, man. I don't even know.
No, man. Because see, here's the thing.
I don't even know what would work, because no one wants that left 8 role. This is why I'm pissed. Because Arteta has hung his hat on Kai Havertz and has left us in this flipping BS. Dude, he is the one that gave Reece Nelson a new contract. He is the one that gave Eddie Nketiah a new contract. You're the one that kept Emil Smith-Rowe around. You're the one that kept Cedric Suarez at the club. And then you leave them all on the bench in the most important game we've played in for 7 flipping years, and you signed them. You kept them at the club, and you left them on the bench because you didn't trust the people that you signed in the biggest game that we've played in near a decade. You did that, and you left Kai Havertz on for 90 minutes when he wasn't doing absolutely anything at all. You left Saka on not doing anything at all. Martinelli, nothing. It took you 80 minutes to pull off Trossard, who did nothing. Why in the world did you re-sign these guys?
I hear everything you're saying. I do. But you said the last game is the biggest game. It's not. That next one is. So, not now, but yesterday, 24 hours ago, it was the biggest game that we had been in. You gotta win the game you play on the weekend too. So just one game at a time.
Yeah, that's not Champions League, man.
So you don't want
if we drop to Newcastle, great. Losing this game was devastating. In the way that we did was absolutely devastating. You know the fragile nature of our mentality. What have we proven? What has Mikel Arteta proven? What is his legacy? Right now, if Arteta got fired from Arsenal right now, what is his Arsenal legacy?
Bottler.
Thank you.
No, I'm gonna disagree.
You might as well work.
What are you talking about? We blew 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
You're gonna say
the first season that he actually had most of his own team, and we challenged. We bottled 4th place. And we didn't make Champions League. Okay, great. We improved. We improved the next season, and we did great. And you know what? We threw away a flipping 8-point lead because we can't handle pressure at big away grounds. Yes, okay, we had ourselves in a position last season because we drew at Anfield. Did we lose the West Ham game? No, it was damaging, but we didn't lose it. No, and then did we lose the Southampton game? No, we didn't lose it. We drew. It was damaging. Yes, we still had a chance going to the Etihad, and we got smoked. We cannot handle pressure, and so when we have a bad result in huge pressure situations where the next game is a huge pressure situation and the next game is a huge pressure situation, what have we proven? Mm-hmm. That we'll throw it away.
Crumble.
Well,
Crumble.
So Arteta has proven that he throws away leads and he is awful in European competitions. That is what he has proven at Arsenal.
Here's my question. I mean, I posed it to Lewis as well. Arteta's gotta be on hot coals, like in some thin ice. If he goes out of champs, if they don't make us run for second, it's the same rinse and repeat as last season. So he's going to be the guy, and I agree with Jake. He's going to be the guy that can almost get you there. He's going to be the guy that can almost win you a tournament, that can almost win you the league.
All right, so
he can't almost win us a tournament. We don't even try in most tournaments.
Wait a minute.
And then we lose, and then we go out round of 16 in all European competitions.
I got you. Patrick, I'm going to be quick, and then you can go. So a quick thing. So you're saying that Arteta's legacy would be he's a bottler. I'm just making sure I understand that.
That's how I would troll.
How are managers judged? How are managers judged?
Let me finish.
Trophies.
Let me finish. Okay, I'm glad you said that because there's a manager that's about to get fired in Munich. And what's his legacy?
That he can't win with his own team?
Yeah.
But he won. He won
with other people's teams.
Actually, he can't win without being given full reign of who plays and who doesn't.
But he won.
Bayern, if you look at the Bayern situation, Kimmich is on the field because Bayern wants Kimmich on the field, not because Tuchel wants him on the field.
So and I hear you. And
you're telling me because Arteta won the FA Cup with Emery's team that he's a great coach, that he doesn't bottle things, that he doesn't keep us almost get us there.
So you don't think he's a great coach?
Great.
This
is his first job. It's his first job.
Okay.
I don't think he's a great coach. I don't think his body of work is even big enough to even label that. I think he's a decent tactician. I think he's got lots of work to do.
So with that, if you have that evaluation, you still would label him a bottler, even though he's young in his career.
If he keeps bottling it, he won't.
Look, this isn't Birmingham City. This is not Birmingham City. This is not DC United. Okay, this is not Aston Villa. Old Steven Gerrard. This is not Aston Villa. This is Arsenal. We should have standards.
Okay,
and 5 years, five seasons. We're not Chelsea. We don't immediately fire managers. I know that, but 5 seasons is a really long time. There's no more trust the process. You've put the process into motion. You chose not to buy a striker. You chose to spend $65 million on Kai Havertz.
You chose not.
$31 million on Fabio Vieira, whom you also had on the bench yesterday and didn't bother to play. We've trusted the process. We've trusted the process. Look, I get it. Pep Guardiola is one of the greatest managers of all time. This Manchester City team is one of the greatest Premier League teams we've ever seen. We're up against it. I understand. Doesn't matter. That's the standard. Are we excuse FC or are we going to win stuff?
Well, I'm just questioning the bottler thing because would you?
What else has he done?
If Thomas Tuchel were to, if you say, okay, I'm gonna get rid of Arteta, would you take Thomas Tuchel next year?
God, no.
But he won.
So?
But that you said that was the standard.
I think all y'all are crazy. I would.
Not a chance.
Right
you also said he wins with other people's teams, right?
But we're also Arsenal are also not Chelsea. Chelsea are a win right now club.
So is Bayern Munich.
We were.
Arsenal don't bring managers in to win one tournament, one season, and then fire them. That's not the way the Crunkies think. Me personally, Lewis, I hear what you're saying. I agree with it 100%. If bringing Tuchel in means we win Champions League next season and then we fire him, I'm cool with that. The Crunkies are not.
Right.
Arsenal are the people that run Arsenal are not cool with that. I am. They're not.
But the point you just made is you said we have standards. So now you're.
I said we should. Have standards. But the Crunkies have shown over the last 20 years that they do not have those standards. The way this club has been run shows that we do not have those standards. Arteta's fine. Arteta is fine. They've offered him another contract. They don't give a crap how the season ends. They do not care how the season ends. Arteta will be here. Look, I'm going to tell you right now. We finished 4th, and go out to Porto, Arteta will still be here next season.
Yep.
I wouldn't want that. I will not want that. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. If we go out to Porto, I don't care where if we don't win the league, he should be fired for me. Because I'm done with the trust the process. It's time to win. It hasn't been 5 years, Lewis. I get it. It's not Arteta's fault, but it's been 20 years.
No, I understand that. I get that point. I get your.
That's far too long.
I get you. I get that. But I feel like that's a kind of an unfair indictment on him to call him a bottler, though.
What else has he done, though?
That's what he's best known
for. Managers are judged on their league finishes, their cup finishes, their trophies that they've won. And the only thing Arteta has done with his league finishes is almost.
What's going to be remembered in the history book? Here you go, Lewis. What's going to be remembered bigger in the history book? The fact that he won an FA Cup, which Arsenal's done 1,000,000 times. That's nothing new for them. Or the fact that they ran 8 points ahead with 6 games left and bottled the rest of the league.
We won't even be remembered for that. That won't even be remembered.
Nobody's going to remember it.
Right. No one.
The treble gets remembered. Right. So it's not even that. You know what Arteta's legacy is? It's nothing.
Nothing at that point. Right.
If you want to call it that, then if you want to make that point, the people that bottled who bottled the league when Leicester won. No one. You have to think about it. You have to think about it. You don't even know. It was Spurs and Arsenal. But you don't even. But you have to think about it. No one cares. In 20 years, when we're looking at City's treble-winning season, no one's going to give a crap that Arsenal were 8 points clear, that we were ahead at Christmas. No one cares. And so, really, what Arteta's legacy so far is nothing.
It's a footnote in the City story. It's not a story for Arsenal.
Is this era going to be remembered as a Pep Klopp era? No.
Of course it is.
If Klopp doesn't win a trophy, say Chelsea wins on Sunday and Klopp doesn't win a trophy, how can you call it a Pep Klopp era? He won 1 league in 7.
I agree with that.
He's the only one. Well, one of the only ones.
1 league in 7.
But the narrative, this one is different because I actually do believe.
No, he won a champs too.
It's trophy, man. It's just all about trophies. It's all about trophies, and the way Arsenal go about it is more of a we want long-term stability.
But here's the reason why I think it'll be remembered, and for just your Klopp point, and then I'm done. Because we remember Wenger versus Sir Alex Ferguson.
Because Wenger got it over the line, dude. But he won 3 FA Cups and 2 titles.
But I'm talking about when you saying is it going to be remembered as a Pep Klopp era? It is, because Pep and Klopp are intertwined. I just think it is. But Liverpool teams have been fantastic.
99.
Yeah, again, they're not going to be. Those fantastic teams won't be remembered. The almost quad,
they will.
No one cares about the almost.
That people will remember City beat a lot. They'll be like, "Hey, it was City cool."
Bro, we still remember QPR giving it them on a silver platter. I'm
going to give y'all 2 examples. Okay, first, I'm gonna tackle the whole thing with Arteta. So this you'll get where I'm going here in a second. So Clemson baseball, they had a legendary coach, Bill Wilhelm. Bill Wilhelm built this incredible team. We're talking about overall first pick in the draft that year, the year after he retired, along with the 3rd overall pick in the MLB draft. That team under Jack Leggett went to Omaha. They went 1-2 and went home. Did not win a national championship. Clemson then had another team about 5-6 years later. Incredible team. It was like the Bronx Bombers. Everybody could hit. They had the Golden Spikes winner, who was the best player in college baseball that season. They go to Omaha, which is where national championship happens. They win 2 in a row, and then they lose 2 in a row to Carolina. They lost 2 in a row to Carolina. Went home. Carolina didn't win anything, but the legacy for that team, even though it was incredible, was, well, you lost in Omaha. You lost to your rival in Omaha. Jump ahead a few more years. Clemson had a great team. went to Omaha. They were one game away for going to play for a national championship. They lost 2 games in a row under the same coach to Carolina, went home, and that's his legacy, is a bottler. His legacy was his teams played tight when it was time to actually win. When the time to play was easy and whatnot, they looked incredible. They're hitting home runs and pitchers are looking incredible. They're throwing
West Ham, Burnley.
Exactly. That's what I was going to get to, right? So Jack Leggett is an absolute legend of a baseball coach, but he never had a national title. Never. The closest he ever came was 1 game, and he failed twice in those situations. And that's how he's remembered at Clemson.
It's the history of the Tottenham.
And when he was pushed out, because he was pushed out, there was a lot of people who were like, well, he could have had another team that could have made it, and this, that, and the other. No, because everybody knew what was going to happen. No matter what happened, no matter how great the team was, they were going to bottle it when it came time to crunch time. That was just how he coached. Everybody talked about how his teams were tight and how the pressure got to him. And I think that's a perfect example of this situation. You know, you go to Porto and you look at the matchups and you're like, Porto, that should be a win. Like, this should be a tie that we win. But when it comes time to actually do that, you know, make that happen, you get tight. Your coach says, you know, hey, we got to win this, you know, whatever it might be. Or maybe mentally he doesn't express to the team the ability to play loose and play free. And
to that point, Patrick, actually, Jake, do you think that it is trickle down? Like, do you think he's so nervous that he can't handle the moment, that he can't handle this position that his team has now been put in, that he then trickles that into the locker room and trickles that into the speech, that trickles that into the guys through that, you know, leadership down? Like, is it on him? Do you think
yes and no. Yes and no. Not like fully what you're saying to where his nervousness shone through in like squeaky voice or whatever. No. I think that it manifested in the way he approached the game, in the fact that I guarantee he told them, look, guys, a draw is fine. You know, let's get in here. Let's be tight. Let's keep the ball. Let's control the game.
Yep.
Let's not give up too much. Defense first.
Oh, the goal was a gut punch.
You know, I think that was the message. And I think that got into the players, the guys' heads. You know, and I think that Arteta, I think the reason I'm so pissed with Arteta is because I think that was his error. Not in that it's a bad strategy to, like, okay, accept a draw, but in the fact that telling this team that gets them all messed up, because we don't do that. We don't sit back. We don't play for draws. That's not what we do. Okay, and so that had to have been in their head when there was maybe 5 or 6 yards of space in between the two midfielders who were coming together in the passing lane to block off the pass to Odegaard or to block off the pass to Trossard from Declan Rice or from Gabriel, because that happened a ton of times. We would play the ball from Saliba to Gabriel or from Gabriel to Saliba, and he would turn looking for Odegaard, and the space would immediately close up in front of him because they would clog the passing lanes. And so every time Saliba or Rice saw Odegaard in that 5 yards of space, it was in their head, you don't need to be the risky pass. It doesn't have to always be the super risky through the lines pass. And they're like, look, if I give the ball away here, we're all of a sudden getting hit on the break. And so in their heads, because Arteta, I think, told them, look, you know, have the handbrake on, essentially, it was in their head, we can't make the risky pass. We don't want to get hit on the break. We need to just keep the ball and go side to side. And we were completely ineffective and impotent the whole game because of that.
Sort of like when you were complaining about with City and who was it that they played?
Everton. It pissed me off. Everton,
exactly. In the mindset, they went into that mindset like, hey, let's get a draw. Let's make it so frustrating for them that we get a point somehow. But then City comes out, scores, right? City comes out and scores, and then it's like, oh, now what do we do? And that's
100% what it is. We don't know what to do.
Facing now, going home is okay. They scored. Now what do we do?
I think.
Well, it's even more in game. It's more in game because we don't know what to do. Arteta does not know what to do. He's obviously not instructed the guys on what to do when Odegaard and Rice are marked out of the game.
When the central's taken out of your...
When there's so much pressure
taken out,
on Odie and Rice...
Shouldn't that be Kyle?
I don't know what to do.
To your point, shouldn't that be your left holding mid? Shouldn't that be the left side coming back to help your men? To come back and help those, you should then form the triangle in the midfield. If you know your two are getting swamped and swallowed, shouldn't you as a midfielder, just position alone, if your position has midfield in it, the 8 holding should then drop further back, help his boys, create play, give the give and go, create a tiki-taka, create the middle passing lane for your boys to run into. And then
why do you think he's called Shy Havertz? Why do you think his nickname is Shy Havertz? He doesn't want that responsibility. He doesn't want to be a part of the buildup. He wants to be on the end of the play. But when the ball isn't getting through the first line, there's not ever going to be a ball for you to get on the end of. And there wasn't. We didn't put in a single cross. What did we have, like 10 touches in the box? Kai Havertz just goes missing when he's not getting any service.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though, and that's what
service. He won't work for service.
No, and that was my issue with y'all taking him, because it was like, okay, well, you're going to play him as an 8. First off, he's never played there, so he doesn't know how to play the position. He's looking to take the ball to the wing, first off, because that's what he did all the time at Chelsea. It was maddening at times, actually, because you're supposed to be in the center, bro.
Yeah, he would take it from center, go to the corner flag, and I'm like, there's no one tracking middle, my guy. You're
exactly. He would, seriously.
Middle, yes.
So, 2 questions really quickly. One, if because I guess I'm the only one who sees it, if Arsenal win the next game against Porto at home and they advance, is he still a bottler?
I mean,
eventually, yeah.
That's a big step. That's a big step. That's a big step in the right direction.
So is what he's saying, though, it's inevitable based on his history that it will eventually bottle it.
So say they win the next
one. I disagree, Patrick. I disagree. I think that's why I'm so pissed at this one. That's why I'm so pissed at this one, because this is the one where it's no longer bigger fish to fry. Last season in Europa League, was I pissed? Yes. But it's Europa League, and I wasn't as worried about it. Champions League, this is the biggest one. This is where you stand up and you say, yeah, I've got it. This is where you, Bukayo Saka, stand up and you're like, you damn right I'm world class. You damn right I'm better than Phil Foden. But no, did he do that? No, because he can't stand up and carry the team. We don't have anyone that can stand up and take a stranglehold of a game where the ref's against you, the crowd's against you, the other team are on their dark arts. We don't have anyone that's going to step up and be like, nah, we're not having this. Back in the day, when Arsenal got scored on, Thierry Henry would take that shit personally.
Are you comparing?
And he would shove it down your throat. I'm saying that's the standard. That's where we need to be.
How many Thierry Henrys are there in the world? Stop it, man.
There should be.
I'm not stopping it. This is Arsenal Football Club. That's what we need to be at. That's why we need to be in the conversation to sign Kylian Mbappe.
Absolutely. I love it.
Accepting anything less is a loser's mentality.
It is disrespectful to the badge.
Why are we saying Bukayo Saka's world class? Why are we saying Bukayo Saka's world class? He hasn't shown that he's world class. He's missed a penalty in a final. He's missed a penalty versus West Ham when we really needed him. He has not stepped up in the biggest game on the biggest stage and shown that when the chips are down, when we're playing like shit, that he can pull us through. He didn't show us that.
I also just my second point.
I love him. I love Bukayo Saka, and I think he's fantastic. Okay, I'm not shitting on him. He had a terrible game.
Has Bukayo Saka not done that for England as well, though? Like, it's been both fronts for him.
So maybe,
and he's only 22. He'll get better.
He'll get better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe you're overachieving.
Of course, we're overachieving.
So, do you think that's going to cost Arteta? Do you think that's going to cost him ultimately, though? Like him overachieving and overstepping?
They've put so much investment in that they're going to ride this horse.
He's a bottler. He's going to get called the bottler for overachieving.
I'm telling you, if he keeps going trophyless, he will.
Arteta himself is overachieving because it's his first gig.
Yeah.
As far
he's a bottler.
He will be.
In his time at Arsenal, yes.
Back to the point.
He will be. If
Lewis, his only body of work, his literal only body of work.
But he's won a trophy.
And I think
someone else's team in the first 6 months of his.
You still got to win, right?
That's like saying Di Matteo won.
He won 4 games. He won 3 games.
Did he not win it?
He won 3 games. 4 games.
Hold on. And I get what you're saying, but if he lost the game, it was on him, right?
No.
All he has to do is press play. That's all he has to do is
So
press
you're telling me if he had lost, so if Di Matteo had lost that Champions League, or if Arteta lost that FA Cup final, then he wouldn't have got blamed for that loss.
No.
He got fired either way. No, it would have been Frank.
Not 6 months. Not 6 months into his reign. Not 5 months into his time there.
You know just as well as I would. Our situation.
I wouldn't have.
But he would have been.
It would have been the player's fault, not his. The manager would not have gotten blamed.
That's not his team. That was not his team. He didn't sign any of those players. He didn't sign a single one of those players.
No. And he didn't even change much either. He just pressed play.
Did Di Matteo change anything?
No, he pressed play.
Did Tommy Tuchel change anything?
Yes, a lot.
Not to win that first Champions League.
Yes, he did.
When he changed it around, is when he went downhill and got fired.
He changed the entire formation of that midfield into a holding 4, where Mount, Conte, and Kovacic could play off of each other effectively.
Well, bad example. Bad example.
He switched that entire.
But Lewis, I disagree.
No, you're right. Personnel-wise, he did not change anything.
Arteta has built his team. The guys that he's wanted, Kai flipping Havertz. He's built his team. And the team that he built, that he wanted, that he put together, that he was in charge of, will be remembered for bottling 4th place, for bottling the title, and if we don't beat Porto, for getting embarrassed in the Champions League. Now, the reason I'm so pissed about this game is because this is the one, man.
Yep.
You asked the question, will my opinion change if we beat Porto? You damn right it will.
Well, and that's
my opinion on Arteta, if we make it to the quarterfinals and lose to Real Madrid, is way better. Is way better. No.
Yes.
It's way better.
It's better
than losing to Porto.
But so how can you have the summary?
Because here it is. We're expected to beat Porto. We're not expected to beat Madrid.
Well, but here's the thing. Remember when I told you in the last
That's the whole definition of bottling something is you're expecting to win something and you throw it away.
They were expected to beat Sporting last year and they didn't.
And we threw it away.
Yeah, they were expected to beat Porto this year and they lost.
Before they played Porto on this same show, I said, hey man, Porto haven't lost at home. I put all those stats out there that didn't show that they should win that game. And they didn't.
But this is the game
because we're not playing
where Arteta needs to prove. This was the one where Arteta proves
if he loses at home, I understand
that he's improved. It's the one that he's improved that we can go away in the Champions League and flex our muscles.
Yeah, it's more of a point.
I think the bigger issue is that whatever you're doing in league, which, I mean, obviously you scored 21 goals in 4 games. So you had a ton of momentum going into this. But while that's important, and I'm not trying to minimize it by any means whatsoever, this was your chance, and it still is. It's not like this is over by any means, but this was your chance to come out and say, we've been gone for, or we've not had a good chance, I guess you would say, to advance at this point in 7 years because we haven't been here. And your first game, while it's on the road, you come out and you turtle almost is the best way to put it. And I can understand your frustrations because you're like, how can a team playing with so much confidence? Because you can't say you couldn't have been playing with any more confidence. Because it was defensively, you're knocking it down. You're scoring, 5-6 goals a game, whatever it might be.
Against
to go on the road, and it's nothing against Porto. It's more so about Arsenal at this point. To go on the road and to not even get a shot on goal. That's embarrassing. Is the concern more so than embarrassing. Anything. You pointing out that Bukayo Saka did not perform is a bigger deal to me than Kai Havertz, Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice. When he isn't the one performing, and you've seen it, when you are scoring, he's getting 2 goals a game. If he's not performing,
isn't that onto your leadership?
You'll run into a brick wall almost.
Isn't that onto your leadership? Like at halftime, I've been a part of these teams. I've been a part of these games. I've been a part of teams on both ends, actually, where we've dominated the game and still not converted chances, and been on the back end of that on being dominated, not being able to get any shots on goal either. Like I've been on both of them.
We didn't even dominate. You can't even call it that.
I'm not trying to call it that. I'm saying I've been on both ends of the spectrum in this scenario, but I've also been in the locker room where someone has said, I don't care what it's going to take or what it looks like. Rip the ball and make the keeper work. I don't care. I don't care anymore. At halftime, that conversation has to be had. At halftime, the conversation has to be had amongst the boys themselves. Arteta aside, tactics aside. Look, make the keeper work. He has had the easiest day of his life. Someone, I don't care if it's 80 yards out. I don't care if it's 14 yards out. I don't care if it's from the corner flag. Make him work. We're not going to get blanked on a stat that truly matters on winning and losing games. Make him work. In some way, shape, or fashion, he needs to work. And that's the conversation that's always been had in my teams when it's like, fine, if I have space at 30 yards out, at least he's working. At least he has to jump and make the save to side. Don't make it easy for him. Just put it off to the left or right and make him work. And y'all just didn't do that either.
Look, we crumbled under the pressure, man. We just straight up crumbled. Arteta himself crumbled as well. Didn't make subs. Didn't tell them. We had 10 corners. How in the absolute F do you have 10 corners and not a shot on goal? 10 corners.
Yep.
And not a shot on goal. And you know what? Every single corner we took was the exact same one. Switch it to flip up, man. When you realize that the referee is just going to call a foul every time you crowd the box. The ref is just waiting for us to kick the after corner kick 5, the ref was just waiting for us to play the ball in so he could call a foul against us because we were doing so much BS in the area in front of the goalkeeper. Change it up, man. Arteta, tell him to change it up. Look, and this is on Odegaard too. If you realize that Arteta's out here dealing the headlight status, somebody at some point has to step up and be like, look, it's not flipping going down like this.
Yeah, that's
somebody on that pitch should have stepped up and been like, look, mother effers, we're not doing this. This is not how this is going down. And we don't have anybody like that.
It should have been Saliba, it should have been Odegaard, it should have been Rice, or it should have been Saka.
No, it's Odegaard. It's on Odegaard, bro. You've got the band.
Rice
I know he's got the band, but what I'm saying though,
been a captain. It's on both of it's on Rhodey and Rice.
I agree 100%.
The entire backbone in that field.
I agree 100%.
That is leaders, and it's Jorzy when he comes in. I agree with you there. Your main
he was awful
when you first started on all of it. It's Georgie as well. Georgie, Odie, Rice. Those are the leaders. Those are the guys that have been appointed. Those are guys who have held armbands. Those are guys that knows what it means to play in big tournaments and big
went missing.
I agree.
And I don't excuse the manager, but what can the manager do about that?
Those three are running laps until
Bro, no, look, that right there, that question is the enigma of Arteta's entire reign at Arsenal.
Fair enough.
What can he do to get us past? Because that's the literal only thing standing in our way of being a great team that can win things is mental fragility. That is the literal only thing we lack. Because we've shown on our day, at our best, we absolutely annihilate teams.
Oh, yeah.
We've shown on our day, even Mikel Arteta has shown on his day, he can mix it up with Pep. He can mix it up with Klopp. He's shown that on his day, we can do that. The only thing we haven't shown is putting it together in 38 games. Putting it together over a whole tournament. That's what we have not shown. Putting it together in an away performance, in a hostile environment where literally everything is going wrong and everything and everyone in that stadium is against you. There were 50,000 people there, 2,500 Arsenal fans. Literally everything is against you. Somebody has to step up. At some point, Arteta needs to find a way to instill that gene in somebody. He needs to find a way for us to get it over the line, because everybody's like, oh, Arsenal have never won it. Arsenal have never won it. You know what? It's got to get over the line at some point.
Okay.
Somehow, some way, we just have to do it once. The only way to get that experience is to actually do it once. Well, now, am I amongst the most delusional Arsenal fans out there? Probably. Because I got my hopes up thinking, you know what, we can compete with anyone in this Champions League. You know what I forgot? And you know what the most of the Arsenal fanship needs to remember? One of the greatest teams we've ever seen took how many years to win the Champions League? How many almosts did City have to go through? How many away goal knockout BSs did they have to go through? How many bitter losses to Tottenham and to teams to Lyon, to teams that they shouldn't have lost to, did they have to go through? And we're just gonna come in. Oh yeah. And we're just gonna come in and blame Porto 4-0 because we've won 5 games on the bounce and we're back, baby, and we deserve to be here. No, that's not how it's gonna be. So to not be mentally prepared for such a hostile environment at Porto is 100% on Arteta. And it's 100% a mental thing until we can somehow, some way find the belief going into this game knowing we are going to win this game. The way that City goes into games like, look, we showed up today, we're going to win.
Here we are.
We won today.
I'm pretty sure it's not. But
now
that's what it looked like versus Brentford.
With this,
tell me I'm wrong.
Heading into
you just explained what it was. You did in this. It's this segment. You explained why City won.
Heading into Newcastle, though. I mean, you do. It's almost a matter.
I'm nervous, man.
Wait. You have to go to St. James?
No. It's at home. We got cheated. We've already been cheated at St. James this season.
Yeah, they got hacked up there, man.
That's right.
It's the same game.
It's still going to be Sword and Shield.
That's what it was. It was 0-0 at the Emirates last season because it was the same game. It's going to be the same thing.
0-0 this game.
And if we don't deal with it, because we're still in our heads about Porto.
And it's a wonder goal. I mean, it wasn't like they deserved to win the game.
It actually wasn't a wonder goal. David Raya is so far off his line. He's in freaking no man's land, but that's a whole nother thing.
He eyes beamed that thing, bro. He banged.
No, dude. It was a looping FIFA chip lob, dude. Dude. He wouldn't have even made the shot if David Raya hadn't have been 4 yards to the right, leaving the gaping hole, whatever. We lost the plot at the end of that game. The clearance from Martinelli,
yes,
that gave the ball away. The space that Declan Rice gave to Homie
He didn't close in.
Bro, it was a shambolic,
right.
Completely lost the plot at the end of that game. Just see it out. Just see the game out. A draw's fine at that point. Just see it to flip out.
Right. And then bring it home.
30 seconds. 30 seconds, but instead you shank it into the middle and we lose the game, and it's a calamity. Like, look, that's why I'm like, the mental state that I feel like we're in right now is why I'm worried about Newcastle. So this is going to be tough. Really, really tough. And
same lineup though, yeah. Rinse, repeat.
I expect it to be, yeah. I expect it to be. I think I'm going with a 2-1 win.
2-1 win.
I'm going with a 2-1 win for the Arsenal, just because.
There's not a lot of 0-0 these. I'll go 1-1. There's not a lot of 0-0 these days. Big games.
Yeah, no, I was going to actually talk to you about that. I think you could look at stats and just with the way defenses are and the way games are called more for the offense, I think it's very difficult for a 0-0 to happen.
It's going to be a 1-1. This is going to be a 1. There's some teams that just absolutely could care less on how the game's played today. They just
okay.
Yeah, that's Newcastle are just going to kick the crap out of us.
Newcastle, this is sword and shield. This is
that's what they do, man.
Bruno, and you've got
they're so injured though, man. Isak's out, Wilson's out, Isak's out. It'll be Gordon down the middle. You know, they're still like, we'll probably see Lewis Miley. Like it's they're injured as tits.
I buy Gordon. I mean,
but their defense has gotten back healthy, hasn't it?
Yeah, Shar's there.
So is Bob.
Is he? I don't think Dan Burn is back.
I thought he was.
I thought Burn was gone for the season.
They're still pretty decimated, but I'm hoping we can bounce back and get the mentality back on track. It'll be at home, but yeah, like I said, it's gonna be another test because we're gonna have to deal with the BS.
When's the second leg at Porto, or against Porto?
Bro. If Chelsea beat Leeds, Arsenal's game versus Chelsea will be postponed because y'all will be playing in the FA Cup. Yeah. That means that we'll play Porto on the 7th or the 8th of March, and then we won't play again until City. So if we go out of the Champions League and have to wait 2.5 weeks
to play City.
That's a long. It's a calamity, bro.
That's a long. And they're going to be firing. They're going to
be a flipping disaster.
So we could screw you over.
Hard.
We could screw you over, and you're
hard.
Oh, bro, that's what we're doing, baby.
It's gonna happen. Y'all will probably beat Leeds, and then if we.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh man, writing on the wall.
Let's get these other two predictions in. We got to get to the biggest game of the weekend. We're almost 2 hours in. We haven't even talked about it.
Nah, it's been a good one though.
For sure.
I'm gonna go 2-2.
We got Lewis fired up. That's what took it. That's what's eating.
Yeah, we got Lewis.
Yeah, we did a 43-minute City section. That's rare.
I was confused.
Yeah, well, we were coming for you. That's why.
Yeah, we're all coming for you. Yeah.
I was trying to be Switzerland.
No. We've almost done an hour on Arsenal. That's also pretty rare. What you think, Lewis?
This one is hard as hell to call, man, because like Newcastle is freaking. Their form is the most unpredictable thing I've ever seen. Fulham 2-0, Aston Villa 3-1 away, then 4-4 at Luton, 3-2 at Forest, 2-2 at Bournemouth. Like everything says they should lose to you. Like everything says they should lose, but they're gonna foul you and kick you in the face. So, like I don't know.
If the cards come out,
and Tierney is the official. Paul Tierney is the official.
Oh no! So he's gonna let him play. He's gonna let him kick and scream.
He will let y'all get
He might actually give them the shields. Like
he's the one issuing spears at the door.
Issuing the weapons at the door. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Don't forget your brass knuckles, Bruno.
Make sure you got your steel-toe cleats on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 0-0, man.
Wow.
Because
case in point, case and mother flipping point. All three of you just predicted draws.
Yeah.
It's a mentality.
I mean, yeah, this Porto game.
Newcastle is unbeaten 4 away games.
Look, I don't even have to tell you what Arteta's legacy is. Case and point. Case in point, we've had a horrific disaster of a calamity. It's going to be in our heads, and now no one expects us to bounce back. I get it.
I think you're lucky that this one is also at home.
Oh my God! If we had to go to St. James after that,
had it been away.
I would pick Newcastle.
Yeah, I would have picked the win.
Yeah.
Newcastle at that point. But
I hear that.
I kind of go back to last season.
All right.
When they went to the Emirates, they frustrated the hell out of y'all. And it
was 0-0. It was a 0-0 last season. Yeah, absolutely. But
it's gonna be a good game. I'm definitely tuning in for this. I don't care where I'm at. Take my lunch break.
Nice.
I don't care, watching it.
It's 3:00 on Saturday here on the East Coast. It's a 3. It's
Don't care.
It is
but, fair enough.
It's a draw.
But yeah, enough of my tears. Enough of an hour of tears on Arsenal. You guys have a huge game at the weekend.
Oh.
Liverpool coming off a 4-1 victory in the second half versus Luton. They weren't great in the first. Came back and did it in the second half. They're going to be up for it.
This is the biggest game I've
What
had.
are we thinking?
Bro, it's the biggest game we've had in the last 3 years since our Champions League.
Well, since Champions League last year against Real Madrid. Well, no, the second leg at home against Dortmund and Real Madrid. Yeah,
I don't know, man. That Dortmund game, y'all want to hype that up, sure, but it didn't mean anything to us. We knew we weren't going deep in that tournament. We knew we weren't going deep in the league that year. Like,
there's a ball.
But that was the best game y'all played last season.
It's pot. Okay, you know what? We're not going to talk about last season. You want to highlight that game? Fine.
Of course, I'm going to highlight that game. You love bringing up Kai Havertz. Why can't I bring up Chelsea Payne?
Listen, this is not about Chelsea pain today. This is about Chelsea glory because we're going into Wembley. We're going to take a trophy. We're going to get our European spot. We're going to take it from Klopp so that way he doesn't win a quad on his retirement tour. Man, listen, we need this game more. This game means more to us.
For sure.
Than it really should. For the tournament that we're in, for the cup we're talking about, for the Cracker Jack box trophy, it really shouldn't mean that much, but it really does to us because Pochettino needs it. The young guys at the club need it to build on. They need to build this backbone. We have to have a backbone of our team. If we keep shipping in and out players, we're going to be a mercenary club. We'll never know what it means to have our DNA, and that will stifle our growth in the future. Yeah, we have these guys for 6-7 years, so our backbone's solidified. Winning on that backbone, telling these boys they are the glue to build on this squad, having these early trophies to hang your hat on does mean a lot. And even if it is, energy drink special, it gets us a spot in Europe, which is what we've always been able to rebuild on. We've always been able to bounce to Europa, show our colors, show up.
Really are Europe or bust.
Yeah, because we understand the game. We don't need the league. All we have to do, because we have an international fan base, we're trying to build this international fan base. If we win the tournaments, we don't need the league. I don't need your 7th place. I don't need your 4th place. I don't have to worry about your 30-plus game season and with everyone injured. I don't have to worry about my hospital list. I have to worry about these 7.
Classic Chelsea. Win a cup, finish 12th.
Win a cup, finish 12th.
Honestly, that honestly became the mentality.
That is.
Like Roman wanted a Champions League so bad that he wasn't worried about the league. He was worried about what the hell was happening in Champions League. Yep. So when we went down to
10,
which I think this week was 12 years ago, when we went down to Napoli, I think it was 3-1 in Italy.
Yes.
That's why Villaboas didn't make it the next week.
Right.
We're bringing in Di Matteo, and he's going to. Di Matteo was already there, but he's going to take over, and we're gonna win this back somehow, some way.
Yep.
And it was coming back to the bridge, and that's all that mattered at that point. It didn't matter if we were going to finish 5th or 12th or 9th or whatever it was. It was about getting to a Champions League final and winning a Champions League final that year.
Yep.
And you even saw it in the league once we started progressing. You didn't see a starting lineup really. You kept seeing the youth kids and all.
It takes that entire and then again, that's why our youth academy gets to be great. Fine, go play the boys in the league. We already have what 7th place has. We don't need it. Now I can play 18 academy players, get them league time, build up the academy, show that they're good players, ship them off and sell them for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 million plus. And then we keep growing the club as this incremental European giant that we're supposed to.
I seem to remember somebody saying Champions League was a trophy. Just getting into Champions League was a trophy.
Getting into Champions League, I would put
I'm just saying you're making the point that all that Champions League money is what's helped you to sustain over the years. And I'm just saying, someone somewhere out there once upon a time mentioned how Champions League money, is like a trophy. But we won't talk about
that. Winning it multiplies that by 10. Getting there, 4th place, getting into the Champions League, absolutely.
That's the bit that we never really got to that bit.
And I think that Tuchel win, and I'm endeared to Thomas Tuchel, and I have an undying bias towards it because you don't understand what that sustainability did for our club during this immense turmoil that we've gone through in the last. Without that money, without that accolade, without that staple moving into
be even worse,
then we would be. No one would want to come here. No one. How are you going to sign prolific players when we are in this dumpster fire of an ownership, in this dumpster fire of a league performance? No European champion, no European football at all. You are solely focused on domestic. That is not Chelsea Football Club. Who's going to want to come here? You are no better than West Ham. Actually, West Ham's better than us if you really want to put it paper to paper, 1 for 1, because they actually went to Europe and won. We didn't even get to do that. We don't even have a seat at the table. And for us not to have a seat at the table anywhere in Europe is unexcusable for me. And that's where I'm at with this. We need, if we win this, it takes the pressure off of Pochettino to then probably outperform himself, sustain the rest of the league, play young guys, get these guys experience, build our backbone, come back stronger, win that conference league, get your spot in the Europa. Don't focus on Europa for the season. Focus on development for the season. We'll focus on the tournaments to get us where we need to be to play in the games we need to be playing in. And then in those tournaments, that's your job as a manager. And that's why I'm endeared to Tuchel. That's why I'm endeared to Frankie for even getting us as far as he did. Sure, Frankie had a horrible league season. Look at Frankie's Champions League run and tell us he didn't set up the foundation for Tuchel to come in and just win that easily. Because he understood the objective. I don't have to come in top 4 if I win this. I don't need your marathon. So
he's got it all mapped out, and it starts on Sunday.
And it does. If we win this, you don't understand how much I'm done. I don't care.
That's massive.
I don't care about the rest of the season. In all honesty, I really don't. I don't.
I think it's far bigger for Chelsea than it is for Poole.
FA Cup would be wonderful. If we win this and then go compete in the FA and win both and dive deep into the FA and actually have a shot at Europa again, because that's where our bread and butter to rebuild always has been, I'm done. You won't hear me ever talk about the league again. I'm solely focused on the tournaments.
Potterchino in.
Oh, Potterchino in.
Fully in.
But to Lewis's point, if he does this and Patrick sent it, and I almost want to come find you and kick you in the shin. Straight in the shin. Because yes, the last time my man was an English manager, what is he known for? What is he known for? What's his legacy? He bottles it. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Well, yeah, that's my
concern. A lot of bitterness tonight.
That's my concern. I mean, it really is.
In-game management in a big, high-intensity at Wembley. We've lost the last 5 times we went to Wembley. That's not Chelsea Football Club.
We have?
So y'all are so young, too.
We haven't
all the inexperience.
We lost the clock 3 times at Wembley.
Yeah, y'all have an awful record versus Liverpool.
Well, I know we lost 2 in a row because
Look at our last. Yeah, actually,
I won't say what I want to say.
I'll send you the last 5 times we went to Wembley. I just saw it on Chelsea's.
Well, I mean, we had to won once because we lost to, was it Leicester one year in the final?
For which one?
For the FA Cup. I remember being absolutely livid because Perez, Io's Perez, yeah, he had a clear handball in the middle.
Y'all lost your last 5 domestic finals at Wembley. Lost to
I
Liverpool.
thought we were talking about losing in general at Wembley. My bad.
No, it's our last. Yeah, no, it's our last 5. Yeah,
and that includes a community shield. So you lost twice to Poole in one season. Thank you, Kepa. Then you lost to City in the Shield in 19, and the Carabao Cup Final in 19, the Community Shield in 2018, and we beat you in Arteta's FA Cup.
FA Cup. Yep, there it is. We gave him his bottler legacy.
Yeah,
so your last 5 visits to Wembley have been awful.
And I'm saying
not ended well.
Not ended well. Yeah. London might be blue, but Wembley is never.
I think that's going to come into play. The fact that you guys are super young, and the fact that there's a wealth of experience you're facing. Van Dijk, Salah, of course, will be back. Don't let them fool you. Klopp will obviously not have Arteta's nerves in a big game. You know, I think that's definitely going to play a factor.
I mean, Klopp wants it. He's leaving. He wants it. Like, it's the Klopp retirement tour. It's all part of this big show. Like, it means more for us. Like,
but I also think, like, if Poole win this, it's kind of whatever. It's gonna be a throwback to what Lewis was saying about it last season and the momentum that it would give to win a trophy in March and then in late February and then go on for other trophies in the league. And so that's probably my biggest reason for cheering Chelsea. I normally wouldn't cheer for Chelsea, but
we need it, man.
I think it's good for the mentality for Poole to lose.
Well, yeah. I also think that this Chelsea team, after how things went down at Anfield, will be hungry. Not only because it's a cup final, but will be hungry to prove that that's not
payback.
This Chelsea team.
Yep.
I think that we'll be better defensively because we seem to have found a pairing that's going to work. I did hear that Silva might be back, but they're not 100% sure. So I think it will be Colwell, DCIC, Gusto, Chile. I think that they have found something that might work as long as Enzo sits back. If Enzo sits back, I'm not so worried about Caicedo getting overran. If we push forward like we did that first time at Anfield, it'll just be another carbon copy. I think Jota being out is a huge deal. I know Salah's there and it scares me to death, especially
Allison not being able, bro.
Oh yeah, that's a big one too. It'll be
Allison can't play.
Allison. Okay.
Yeah.
Because he always has some wonder save against us. Like, dude, how did you?
I mean, he's one of the top 2 interchangeably best goalkeepers.
Oh yeah, I know.
Look, it's a cup final, and at the end of the day, what was the main contributing factor to the way you played against City? Was how hard you worked.
Right, it's our work rate.
And so this is a cup final, and in games like these, sometimes it really does just come down to who wants it more. And that's what it's going to that's what it would take to beat Liverpool, period. Here we go. Game on that pitch in front of, at Wembley, it's going to take effort, hard work for the badge from everyone.
we win this, Connor gets the band, and we win this game. I'm buying a Connor Gallagher jersey.
That he gets sold in the summer.
Here, I'll buy it because he's Chelsea
lifted silverware. Yeah.
Chelsea born and bred, and got us out of a hole that I truly believe this could jumpstart us back to where we need to be, because it puts us in a tournament I know we can compete in.
It might be sticking your hand in a cereal box and pulling out a toy, but it could be the catalyst for big things.
That's what we need right now, and that's what we've been missing.
Well, I think also
to go from winning the Champions League to not even playing in Europe. Like, our highs are high and our lows are low, and I it's just there's been no light at the end of the tunnel except for being in these moments, and other than the fact that we've lost to Liverpool twice in one season, attribute that and take that, we lost in PKs that went beyond regular PKs. Take that away, Tommy Tuchel's up there with the greats and won a treble. He lost in PKs twice. He did everything.
It should never gone to PKs.
It should never gone to PKs. One of those should not have gone to PKs.
Yeah. Ruben's goal, he was onside, and that was a goal.
Absolutely.
It was a clear goal.
Absolutely should not have been there. The other game, head-to-head, take it, chips fall where they do. Ramaleh was not.
I think wish it was the Carabao Cup that we should have won straight up. We should have
won, right, because they don't use, right. VAR, rest decision, completely off base. But that's what I'm worried about really heading into this, is that it's the Klopp retirement tour. We saw what happened over the weekend. Go back and watch parts of that Liverpool game. Men are flying into the box, taking out offenders, possession in the box, no PKs called, no VAR check called. I'm worried that there's a sense of, let Klopp run with this and let's see how big it can really get. But we have to show up and take the wind out of the sails. We show up, we hit them early, have Sterling. We already know the lineup. You already hit the defense, nail in the head. We know Caicedo, Gallagher, Enzo in the midfield. We already know it's going to be Sterling and Palmer.
And probably Jackson.
And most likely is going to be Jackson at the 9, who's going to shank a C19 one-on-one with the keeper and can't hit this broadside of a barn to save our life.
But then he'll hit a header out of nowhere.
Right.
A fox in the box is popping up. I'm feeling it.
It's still a chance for a fox in the box moment. I was gonna say my biggest concern, like you were pointing out, X, was Van Dijk has been very sloppy defensively, and he's not getting called on it.
No.
And so, the first penalty shout that we have, are they going to look at it? Probably not. I mean, you were making
Sterling's going to go flying to the corner flag the first chance he gets. So it's fine. Yeah, no, they're not calling that one. We already know.
But you made that point about, I think Liverpool in general are now kind of in this desperation mode of trying to win everything for Klopp. And we've seen it with some of the challenges, like the one that I pointed out against Burnley, where they scored a goal. McAllister went studs up in my man. He kicked him, literally kicked him in the shin to get the ball off of him. And they scored a goal right after that. And there was no check. They checked for an offsides. Yeah. So, but I mean, that's the thing. They're flying in on tackles. They're doing this. They're doing that. And there doesn't seem to be this mindset of saying, hey, you got to chill out. I know we've got guys who are reckless. I mean, I think we've got the most yellow cards in the league. That's my concern, is that we get into, all right, we start getting yellow cards. They get nothing. We get frustrated.
Half of those are for dissent and kicking the ball after play, though. So,
well, Jackson has 5 for dissent.
Yeah.
I'm saying, we get upset and kicking the ball after play.
So, do you guys want to add this score into the predictions league?
Sure.
Yeah.
I hate my score because I can't logically come to it like I usually do. think it's more of a heart pick. I think we find a way to win. I don't know how. I think it's 2-1, honestly.
If we win this game, it's 2-1. The
And
only
the
way
only reason why I
It's
think
pins?
Huh?
You don't think you'll take it to pins?
I do not want to see Liverpool
God, I
in
hope
PKs.
not.
I don't want to see Liverpool in PKs. If we go to PKs, I will literally text the group. That was a great game. Drop the ball.
Even though I think Petrovic would make his.
I don't trust the boys kicking. Like I trust our goalie for once. I don't trust the boys kicking now. Last year or the year before that, it was completely different. I trusted the guys who were kicking, but not our
Did we
goalkeeper.
go 5 for 5 against? Shoot, who was that? We went 5 for 5 against
Before Preston?
Oh, Newcastle.
Yeah.
4 for 5. We didn't have to take 5.
Oh, that's right. We went 4 for 5. We didn't have to take 5.
Man, I don't know. I want to pick Chelsea. I really do.
We needed more. It may mean so much more to us.
Yeah.
Retirement.
Hang on. Did I not? No, it's the rules are so weird on how this works. If the winning club wins a higher spot in the league,
Then it just doesn't even matter.
it dissolves.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you won won't matter. It won't push anyone.
Wrong.
It won't push any place back or anything. It just won't matter. Yeah.
Okay.
Man, I hate to do this to you guys, but I just don't. I see Liverpool winning this game. Unfortunately,
Can't happen, man.
I don't want it to, but I think Pool will win 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah.
Can't happen, man.
I'm just. It's just the experience and Klopp, and you got guys like Van Dijk, and if Salah's back in there, I expect Nunez to be back there. Just based on everything, they're flying high. They're winning game. They're scoring massive amounts of goals in games they're not been very good in. It's just What'd you think, Lewis?
I'm looking at the results here, and it says Chelsea having kept a clean sheet in 5 matches, and Liverpool having kept the clean sheet in 7 matches. So I think there will be goals on both sides. I think there's enough sloppiness on Liverpool's side. I'm gonna say what X said he didn't want to see. I think it goes depends. I think it's gonna be 2-2, and there I don't know. Like I think that's like the hardest one to call. But I think it goes 2-2, it's pens. And I just...
With no Allison, I would actually give us pens. That's the difference.
And this one is... Because I'm like, I don't know what Salah we're going to see. And because of that, I'm going to go 2-2, Chelsea wins in pens.
That would be ironic.
I was going to say, does Salah even get to pens himself?
Yeah, because he's not been there. I think they've been sloppy. They've given goals against everyone. We've seen that against everyone. So Chelsea's going to score. Chelsea's going to score because Chelsea, you scored against them when you play. They're good, so you're going to score. It just depends if Chelsea scores early. Ooh, that's going to be something. But I think it's 2-2.
Well, I mean, that Sterling first chance. Just put it away for once, man. Like, please, just.
You may have already used your one time with Sterling in the City game.
Yeah, we're gonna have to rely on Palmer here to find one.
I'll take it.
I mean, it is another ex-team of Sterling's. It is another former team that's Sterling.
He likes scoring on his old clubs.
He does.
Jackson just you know what? Aim for C19. And
exactly.
You might hit the goal.
Can you petition the league to make the goal bigger for this game, or?
Oh my goodness, man!
I'm just hoping for fair VAR. That's all I'm asking for.
Hey, at least it's here.
Yeah, good grief, man. I want it. I definitely want to see Chelsea win.
It's so bad. You don't understand, like
just the dent it would put in Pool.
And we rented out, like the Bluefeld group rented out. I cannot remember. I think did I not text y'all that?
They rented out Roxy's downtown for the whole game. Changed the lighting, got all the TV set. Like the only way you're getting in there is if you're part of the Bluefeld. Like the whole place shut down.
Nice.
3:00, all ours.
Nice.
So like,
Are you going? Are you a part of this group?
yeah, I'm 100% in. I'm
Nice.
taking Kristen too.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's like, yeah, this is
Get some.
the biggest game that we've been. This means so much for us moving forward in this new era of our club.
I want
Well,
some footage, man.
Just think about this. Like everything.
Tell
before
Kristen to
Wembley-
take some photos. I want some
everything
content, bro.
Oh, absolutely. There's going to be like a bunch of the guys on my soccer team that I play with on Tuesday, or like 3 or 4 of them are Chelsea fans. They're all going to be there too.
This is
It's
where?
the biggest, huh?
If I show up,
No, come on.
if I randomly crash it, can you get me in?
Yes. They just asked for a head count. I'll just be like, yo, it's +3 instead of 2. Like, it's all good. But no, man, like this is the biggest game for our club because like you have to understand, like we have a new idea. Like I'm struggling with this as a Chelsea fan, and our history speaks for itself. But like
Acceptance is the first step.
I know we're in this new era, and for this new era to be deemed successful and to be deemed acceptable, these are the games that truly make or break it and can endear you. This could be a breaking point for Todd, not just as much as it could for Pochettino. If we don't have trust in our ownership, we don't have trust in who's leading this club, you're going to see people start jumping. You're going to see people not caring. You're going to see managers not being brought in that need. You're going to see players being brought in that we don't need. Like, it's a slippery slope down, and this is one of those big building blocks that we can use. And yes, it's the Tin Cup. What I'm really more focused on is the spot for Europe because we thrive there. We know we thrive there. That's why we bring players in that we want and we need. So, yes, this is just a huge moment that we need to capitalize on. And if it goes 2-2 to Pens, man, I'll be the most nervous person. I'll have gray hair. I'll be looking like Jake after Sunday.
Whoa. Whoa.
At least y'all have hair. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
You watch yourself.
You watch yourself.
No, I was going to say, piggybacking off of what you said, you know, I think this is the first moment in the Bully era where you're like, okay, this could be some form of stability that we haven't had in the last 2.5 years.
And we're still in the FA. Like we're
you know, and I hate putting that kind of pressure on this team because they are young. But I also think they're young, they're naive. Maybe they don't feel the pressure. Maybe they go into it and say, hey, this is our chance to actually do something.
I think
Connor, their abilities.
I think Connor thrives in that. Like, oh yeah, this is a big game. I can do it. And then just
well, I think Cole Palmer's the same way. I think Cole
Palmer is the
same way.
Palmer likes the
Palmer has scored at Wembley.
Palmer likes for a game winner.
No, he scored a tying goal.
He scored in the Community Shield.
I thought he won the game 1-0.
No. He scored in the Community Shield. Then we got a deflected lucky goal at the end, and then we won in penalties.
You know, part of my reason for picking Chelsea is they showed up against Villa at Villa, and they showed up against City at City. I think they're starting to turn the corner where the players are starting to kind of get there. But I still think like Liverpool, just attacking wise, was still going to be a challenge for them. That's the biggest reason why I think it goes to Pens. It's hard. I don't know, but I'm going to pick Chelsea. Then, like I said, I think they'll show up.
God, we need it, man. We need it so bad.
Well, that's not why I'm picking it. I think Liverpool is susceptible right now because so the Pochettino thing. You literally have the opposite thing going when Pochettino lost because the manager has announced they're leaving in a final, which I think works the opposite way for you. That's my extra thing.
Yep.
We'll take anything we can get right now. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
I will be like I should not, and this is the problem, man. I hate where my club has put me. I should not care this much about
the tin
man. I
cup.
should not care. But I will be distraught if we lose this, man.
You know what else your club shouldn't have done? I find myself cheering for you like too much this season.
Hey, you enjoyed last Saturday.
The
Don't
narrative.
lie.
It's the narrative.
I enjoyed it.
You don't want to kick us while we're down.
I
It's
enjoyed the
how
result.
how bad can you kick a puppy?
I don't kick puppies. I'll kick you.
We're a puppy.
I don't mind kicking you.
Me personally, maybe not.
But it's you. I'll kick Chelsea if that was somehow if there was a way to do that, you know. But no, yeah. There was plenty of other stuff I would have liked to have gotten to tonight, but we've had such good conversation, and perhaps I've waffled for too long, as they say over in England. Cried a little bit too much, shouted a little bit too much, but you know, and we got Lewis a little riled up, so that was fun.
That was fun. I'm going to be honest. Sorry,
That was definitely fun.
I like how you were thinking on your feet. It was impressive.
It's what I do.
We love trying to poke holes in the Man City machine, the death robots from outer space that Man City are. So that was definitely fun. But yeah,
Holland is an alien. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm gonna hound you tomorrow for the rest of the predictions. So we'll skip that as well. And my main point about the rest of the Champions League is I'm far less confident after watching Milan and Atletico and Barca and Napoli. There was some good games in there, and I'm far less confident that we can just walk over people like I was very naively not just a couple of days ago. But so, yeah, we're certainly glad you've made it. Go ahead.
Well, the crazy thing about that Barcelona-Napoli game, Barcelona actually kind of looked good. Like, how did they go from being absolutely like, what is wrong with you, to playing so well? And I think that kind of goes back to the whole Chelsea thing. Like, it's a tournament. It's a cup. You know, it's a chance to win a trophy, and it changes how you play things. And you know, I pointed it out the other day with, you know, how does Porto play Arsenal? Arsenal is flying high. How do they play Arsenal? You know, and I think that's the thing. Like, when you are talking about professionalism and playing for the badge, or, you know, chasing cups, it comes down to your not only ability but your desire to win. Do you have it in you to stand up in that moment and say, we're not losing today, bro? We're I don't care what happens. You know, I don't care if we go down 2 goals. We're not losing. And I think that's where the good teams separate from the great teams separate from the good teams. I mean, Karim Benzema was a perfect example of it when he went on his insane, you know, tear to knock out Chelsea, to knock out City. You know, that man was possessed. He's like, I don't care. You're not beating me.
We're not losing.
We're not losing.
Yeah, he wanted one before he left. Yeah.
And I think that's the one thing that, you know, we see as we get further into these cup tournaments and whatnot, is the skill is close to the same. It's all about the heart. It's all about the desire. And, you know, that's why I'm not confident about Chelsea winning by any means. But I do think that there are guys on that team that are like, we're not going to lose today.
Mm-hmm.
Palmer's won. Gallagher's won. And, you know, I think that's what you need to see.
Chili's a little more dogging in these days. It's been nice, man. I'm telling you.
Well, I think that's what you need to see on Saturday with Newcastle. I think that's what you need to see when you play Porto again, is that mentality, because that mentality gives you hope. Maybe you don't win, but it's about the mentality, and that's what a culture is about. It's not about winning or losing. It's about having people who want to step up in those moments and say, you're not beating me. I'm going to do everything in my power today for you not to beat me. And so, going into a cup final, that's what I think we'll see. But that's also what I worry about with the whole Klopp retirement tour, because Liverpool have been very,
done that.
reckless.
Mhm.
Because their idea is, you're not beating me. I don't care if I take you out. I don't care if I do this. You're not beating me. And that's my concern come Sunday.
I think in the Champions League, it goes even farther, that point, and I have certainly found far more respect for it recent times, that the pedigree, the fact that the club itself, again, won the Champions League, I think makes a huge difference. Porto have won the Champions League twice. They've gotten over the line.
Mourinho.
So their culture gives them that mentality that, we can do this. Barcelona, absolute shambles. Oh, it's Champions League? Yeah, we're doing this. Real Madrid, who, some might say this season, on the eye test may have looked a little bit so. It's Champions League. That year that they won with Benzema, when they weren't very good at all in the league, when they weren't that great at all in the league, and they just come through and because they got the pedigree, because that is what Madrid does. They win in Champions League. That's that mentality. And until Arsenal develops that, we probably aren't going to win a Champions League. And that's how you win the Champions League. Am I right, Lewis? You developed it over year after year after year of getting closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer.
Lots of disappointments along the way, man.
You have to have the spine.
It took 6 disappointments for Chelsea to finally win one.
Yeah, we got to a PK.
See, that's my point. That's my point. Xavier, you are my point. The way your mind works is my point, because you've been there, you've done that, and so you expect it. You have that mentality. We're Chelsea Football Club. We win in Europe. We win Champions Leagues. We win in Europe. That's the mentality.
In Europa, bro. Europa's ours. If we're in Europa, Europa's ours.
Case in point.
Ours. That is ours.
Case in point.
We're the only club in history to hold a Europa and a Champions League at the same time. Europe is ours. If we play in Europe, it's ours. Period.
But I was gonna say to kind of like when we looked terrible last year, and we came out of Dortmund only down like 1-0, or maybe it was 2-1. I can't remember what it was. I knew we go home, we're gonna win. We're advancing, because that's the mentality, and that's kind of what I was trying to say earlier about Arteta. Is his mentality of we're going to advance, or is his mentality, let's make sure we have a chance?
I see that Porto game ending 0-1 to the Arsenal and going to PKs, and Arsenal just fucking slapping.
I hope not, man. I want 3-0. I want to come out absolutely flying and be up 2-0 in the 20th minute and wrestle control of the tie back immediately and calm the nerves down and be in control and calm for the rest of the game. That's what I want.
The first 15 minutes.
Yeah, how the Emirates completely rocking off there.
We need to blitz them right out the rip. But yeah. So speaking of, let's blitz the like button. Let's go ahead and get as many likes up as we can on the video. We've gone quite a while tonight. It's been a good one. Subscribe if you're new. Of course, thanks for listening. We are on our way to 200 subscribers. And if you're enjoying all the content, go ahead and get that little bell on. Hopefully we got some championship celebrations coming up for you from Xavier there. But yeah, so I hope you have a good night. Hope you enjoy the weekend as much as I know we will. And you will see us next.